The Serpent's Court. Princess Mira Ashbourne knew exactly how many people in the Grand Hall might be monsters wearing human skin. All of them. Every single one. That was the problem with the Serpent folk, the ancient race that called themselves the Dracari. They looked like gods walking among mortals until they didn't. Until scales rippled across perfect skin, until wings tore through silk and bone, until the beautiful man offering you wine smiled with too many teeth. Myra's fingers tightened around her champagne flute. The crystal was cold. Everything in the obsidian palace was cold, despite the flames burning in silver sconces along walls carved from volcanic glass. "Steady," her sister Senna whispered beside her. "You're gripping that glass like you want to strangle it." "I do." Mira forced herself to relax her hand. "I want to strangle everything in this cursed place." "Well, you can't. Not yet." Senna's voice dropped lower. "Remember why we're here." As if she could forget. 3 months ago, the Dracari had ended their 1,000-year siege of the human kingdoms. No more burning cities. No more tribute caravans of gold and livestock. No more daughters stolen in the night, never to return. All King Rydian Nightscale wanted in exchange for peace was simple: a human bride. Not just any bride. He wanted Mira specifically. Princess Mira Ashbourne, the Crimson Blade, the Dragon's Bane. The woman who'd killed more Dracari than any warrior in human history. She'd laughed until she'd wept when her father told her. Then she'd stopped laughing when she realized he was going to accept. "This is our chance to end this," her father had said, his face haggard. "To finally have peace." "It's a trap," Mira had replied flatly. "Perhaps. But it's a trap we must walk into." He'd looked at her with exhausted eyes. "Unless you have another solution?" She hadn't. Not one that wouldn't cost thousands more lives. So here she stood, in a ballroom filled with creatures who'd murdered her. Then he smiled, slow and devastating, and turned away. Mira stood frozen, her pulse hammering against her ribs like a caged bird trying to escape. What in the 7 hells was that? Princess Ashbourne? A servant appeared at her elbow, making her jump. "If you would come with me, please." Mira followed numbly, her hand drifting to the pendant hidden beneath her dress. The pendant filled with venom from the widow bloom, the only flower in existence that could kill a Dracari. She'd come here with a plan: marry the Serpent King, get close enough to poison his wine, and end the war forever. Simple. Clean. Suicidal, probably, but she'd made peace with that. Except now she was being led toward a line of women gathering along the eastern wall. Beautiful women in gowns that cost more than villages. Women who looked just as confused as she felt. Princess Elara of Thornhaven stood nearby, her emerald dress shimmering. Lady Cassia of Ironmoor. The Duchess of Wavecrest. "What's happening?" Mira demanded. The servant bowed. "If you would stand here, Your Highness." They arranged the women in a line. Mira counted quickly, 12 of them, all nobles, all human, all looking varying degrees of nervous and ambitious. Her stomach dropped like a stone down a well. Across the ballroom, she found Senna's gaze. Her sister's face had gone white with fury. "This should be interesting," Princess Elara murmured beside her. "I was told this was your betrothal ball." "So was I," Mira said through clenched teeth. The crowd parted. King Rydian walked toward them, and Mira's world tilted sideways. Up close, he was devastating in a way that felt wrong. Like staring at an eclipse, beautiful and deadly and impossible to look away from. She watched his eyes move over each woman in the line, assessing, calculating. When his gaze reached her, something flickered in those molten depths. Recognition, perhaps. Or hunger. "Welcome," he said, his voice like silk over steel, "to the trials of the crown." The BA. Something dangerous flickered in his eyes. Then he smiled, a real smile, sharp and delighted, like she'd just become interesting. "Then I suppose," he said softly, addressing the room but never looking away from her, I should make my first selection carefully. Every woman went rigid. The silence stretched like a bowstring pulled to breaking. Rydian took one deliberate step toward Mira. Her heart stopped. His lips parted. And he turned away. Princess Elara of Thornhaven, he said smoothly. Would you honor me with your company this evening? Elara stepped forward, her smile victorious. The honor is mine, your majesty. Mira stood frozen as Rydian offered Elara his arm and walked past without a single glance in Mira's direction. The humiliation burned like acid in her veins. She'd come here to kill the Serpent King. But she couldn't poison him if she couldn't get close to him. And she couldn't get close if she was just another rejected contestant in a game she didn't know how to play.